perfume batch isn't something that you can just whip up overnight like that. It's got to be put in the proper proportions at the right time during a full moon on Easter Sunday, the last year of the millennium. Hi everyone, I'm Moody Boo, and I am back with another Black Lives Matter perfume and website. It's a perfume shopping website. And I'm going to start with the website and then talk about the perfume. So the website is called Muse, where I bought the perfume from. And Muse stands for Modern Urban Sensory Experiences, and it's based out of Harlem, New York. It's owned and run by a woman named Kimberly Waters. She is a black woman that lives in New York, obviously. And when I went to order this perfume from her website, from Muse, it must have been fairly popular because it ran out right when I ordered it like 5 weeks ago or something. And so she personally emailed me and said, I'm so sorry, we ran out of stock, it went quick or something like that, and I'll refund you immediately, or if you'd like to wait or get a different perfume. And I was like, no, I'll wait. Because honestly, I told her I want to buy from this store. And I didn't say I want to support your business, but I just said, no, I want to buy from Muse, and so I will wait. So Kimberly Waters got a hold of the perfumer of the perfume that I ordered and was like, hey, we're out. We need some more. We got orders coming in, I don't know how she said it. I'm just, guesstimating. And, but, it's a perfume batch isn't something that you can just whip up overnight like that. It's got to be put in the proper proportions at the right time during a full moon on Easter Sunday, the last year of the millennium. I don't know what it is, but it has to be put together a certain way and let sit there for a certain amount of time before it's allowed to be distributed. So I knew it was going to be a minute, and I was just like, I'll just wait. I'll just wait for the perfume, no problem. She'd check back with me every once in a while, or I'd email her saying, how's it going? And so it might have been closer to 2 months, actually. And so anyway, finally, she emailed me and said, yay, it finally came in, it's on the way. And then she sent me a whole bunch of samples, free samples to go with it too, for waiting. And I was really, really anxious to get this perfume, but I exercised patience, which is totally against my nature. And I'm so happy I waited. So anyway, I'll talk about the perfume in a minute. But again, this is Muse, and this is the card that came with the perfume. And there's the back of it, Kimberly Waters. And the website itself doesn't have a huge selection of different perfume houses. I will read you off what they do have. But I figure the bigger her business gets, she's been in the business for a few years now. I mean, I think it was like 2016 that she started Muse. I'm not sure, but it's also a brick and mortar place, as I understand it as well. So, but I think the more she grows, I think the bigger her perfume repertoire will be. Some of these houses I haven't heard of. Muse has Nasomato, Giovanni Antonelli, I don't know that house. Marie Jean, or Jean, I don't know that house either. Via des Mille, I don't know that one either. Liaison des Parfums, I don't know that one, but she sent me a bunch of perfume samples from them, and I'm really liking at least one of them. So that might be a future purchase. Of course, Maya Njie, Boadicea the Victorious, Stephanie Lucas, Lumira, Olfactive Studio, and it looks like that's it. So like I said, it's a very small amount of houses, but there's houses I don't know here, so I am going to be ordering some samples or possibly buying some perfumes from Muse. Super nice. She was so nice. I really appreciated that. So now to the perfume. So the perfume that I waited for so long for is called Tropica by Maya Njie. And this is also a black perfumer, a woman. I believe she's based out of London. Why haven't I heard about some of these perfumes until now? That is the question. Because this is amazing. This is amazing. This is right up there with Chris Collins and Kimberly, New York. I don't understand. I don't understand how I haven't heard of these houses before. These should be, here's my thing. Okay, so I wanted to do it. Rewind. When I first smelled this, because I blind bought it, it was in the family of something else that I loved. And I couldn't think of it for about 10 seconds. And then it occurred to me that it reminded me a little bit of Frappen's Luministe, with some very noticeable differences. But it's that fresh, summery, makes you feel good all over kind of a tropical vibe to it. So I thought I'd just go ahead and compare them on my hands. I wore them all day today. Tropica on my left and Luministe on my right, just to see how close they are and how far apart they are. I'm not going to go into Luministe too much because I've done a review on it years ago. Oh, and then I did the Frappen House review, so I kind of talked about it then. But I always say that, and then I talk about it anyway. So they are similar, but this one is this one's much more fresh and clean. And it's got that gin vibe to it, like a gin and tonic kind of a vibe to it. This does not have that. It doesn't have that intense boozy quality to it, or that heavy clean smell that I get with Luministe, especially in the dry down. This one's a little different, but there are some similarities, especially when I first spray them, because Tropica, the very top notes are very fresh and bright and happy. And I can definitely smell some coconut in there and some pineapple. So, you know, if this was going to be compared to boozy, this would be closer to a pina colada without the lactonic kind of a vibe to it. And this one closer to a gin and tonic. But they're in the same family. They're that fresh, drinkable, tropical, summer, wonderful perfume. So, I'll start with Luministe. So, Luministe by Frappen is lemons and gin and juniper and some more citruses and cardamom and some pepper and oak moss, tonka, some other spices and florals. But I really just get that gin and tonic with maybe a lime in it kind of a vibe. And I love it. But in the dry down, you get a lot more woods, and that warms it up quite a bit and dries it out a little bit. Whereas Tropica is citrus and pineapple, Mediterranean fig, coconut musk, ambergris, sandalwood, and cedarwood. And Luministe doesn't have a big journey to its dry down. A little bit, where it gets more of those woods kick in and kind of dries out that alcohol, gin and tonic kind of and citrusy, juicy kind of a scent it is at the very beginning. After about a half an hour or so. Tropica is more of that pina colada vibe without it being super sweet. It's almost like the citrus, the pineapple, and the coconut have been, instead of using milk, you use water or something with that kind of a boozy drink. I don't get rum, but you get the vibe of it because you do get that pina colada mixer, kind of a fresh mixer, I might add. Fresh pineapple, fresh coconut. None of that store-bought artificial kind of smelling stuff at all. Oh. So that is the tropical part of alcohol of this one as opposed to Luminisce. Luminisce is gin and tonic with a lime, and Tropica is more pina colada with fresh ingredients, minus that rum, the bite that rum can give it, and without that milkiness that can come with a pina colada. And in the deep dry down, Luminisce, like I said, the woods come in there much more, and they actually take over in the deep dry down. It becomes almost a little generic smelling in the deep dry down. With Luminisce, though, that only takes 2 to 3 hours for that to happen. Its performance is not very good. It never has been. And it's at that stage. I only sprayed it like 2 hours ago the last time because I've been refreshing it all day so I could really wear both of these all day to make a comparison. And it's been about 2 hours, and it's down to that real deep woodsy kind of a smell, minus the gin and tonic or citrus effect it had earlier. Whereas Tropica, you definitely get more of the woods and the fig. Now, the citrus and the pineapple and the coconut have lightened up. The musk is never really intense in there, which makes me happy because that can really overpower a scent and make it smell like a lot of other scents in the deep dry down when you get that white musk dry down. This doesn't have that. This is much better deep dry down than Luminisce. This, like I said, is the fig and a little bit of musk and that ambergris, sandalwood, and cedarwood. But I swear there's a little bit still of sweetness in there. Whereas Luminisce, it had a hint of sweetness with that sour tartness of the gin and tonic at the top. But that goes away at the deep dry down, becomes all woods. Tropica at the top is slightly sweet. It doesn't really have a lot of tang to it, maybe a hint from the pineapple, but it's a sweet, ripe pineapple. Like I said, they're all fresh ingredients. And when it dries down, it keeps most of that, not most, but probably half of that sweetness stays with it. And that freshness, that's what kills me, is the freshness is still there, whereas Luminisce, it's long gone. It's still there. Now, as far as performance goes, Luminisce projects a little better the first half an hour to an hour than Tropica. Luminisce is much more up and down. It will project and then it drops off, heavy. Whereas Tropica is much more steady. It doesn't quite go as high as Luminisce, but it stays that way for much longer. So that Luminisce, when it's gone in 2 to 3 hours, Tropica is still going. I actually sprayed this on before bed last night. Now, granted, I only sleep 7.5 hours. And in the morning and during the night, I could still smell it. And the next morning, I could still smell it. It was very faint, almost a skin scent by that time, but it was still there, and it was about 8 hours later. So Tropica performs much better. It isn't a typical kind of a summer, beachy, tropical kind of a perfume. It isn't. Now, is it in the same vein as some other ones that I've smelled? Probably. Like I said, Luminisce was the first thing that came to mind, but I don't think it's as close as I originally thought. There might be some others that I have decants of or something that are closer. But if I loved them that much, I would have had the same reaction and they'd be out here on the shelves. and they're not, and I can't think of them at the moment. So that tells me this is unique enough that I'm in love with this one. And so it doesn't exactly remind me of anything. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it helps me, especially if I'm going to blind buy something. I like to know kind of the vein it's in. I like to know if it's being excavated from the same continent as some other perfume that I know. So that's why I try to tell you guys what it's in the vein of, even if they're not necessarily close. If you like Luministe kind of perfumes, you may like Tropica. That's all I'm saying. Very unisex, very unisex. I do get a hint of boozy, but it's not really rum. And maybe it's psychosomatic because I smell all of the ingredients in a pina colada that maybe I'm just imagining I'm smelling the rum, because your mind does fill in the voids. When it sees something, smells something, hears something. So, amazing, amazing perfume. This is one that's going to be worn this winter when I'm feeling the winter blues. We got La Nina coming through, so we're going to get tons of moisture, whether it's warm enough that it's just rain or whether it's going to be cool enough that it dumps the snow. Where I live, we've had 9 feet in one winter before of snowfall. And that's insane. So I don't live in Alaska. I didn't sign up for that kind of crap. Move me to Hawaii now. Love it. Yep, this will chase away the winter blues. No problem. I think this could be worn during the day, even to work. It's not so boozy smelling that anybody's going to think that you've been tipping some of Grandpa's cough medicine in the closet, you know. Very happy. Makes me feel very happy. Uplifting. You absolutely could wear it at night. I don't know if I call it a statement maker as much as an attractor. I think it would attract people more than make a statement. Price is really good on these. And I fell in love with this one so much, like I said, I blind bought it, that as soon as I wore it for a day, I went through and bought the rest of Maya Njie's sample set. Because on Muse, they have like the travel sprays. I think they're 7.5 mLs. So there's 4 more in Maya Njie's arsenal on Muse. So I just went ahead and got those. And I may even get a travel size of Tropica down the road to carry with me. Mood enhancer. Better than Zoloft and Prozac. Anyway, yep, you should definitely check out Muse, the website, Modern Urban Sensory Experiences by Kimberly Waters. You should definitely check out Maya Njie's fragrances, and Tropica especially is wonderful. And it was mid-range. I want to say it was like 140, and this is 50 mLs, I think. Yeah, 50 mLs. Bottle is nothing to write home about. It's very simple, very kind of industrial looking, you know. It almost looks like a tonic that you would see in an old, like a snake oil salesman's wagon or something. I guess it'd be darker glass though, wouldn't it? They didn't have a lot of clear glass, I don't think, back then, or did they? I don't know. I'm just talking out the side of my ass. So, all right. Well, that was it for Tropica by Maya Njie and Muse, the website by Kimberly Waters out of Harlem, New York. For Black Lives Matter, check them out. I don't usually tell you guys to do anything or suggest anything firmly. You know, I have a lot of caveats. Somebody called me the queen of caveats. I'm going to take that as a compliment. But do go check out Muse. Check out Maya Njie. Check out Chris Collins in Kimberly, New York. I don't know why there are 5,000 reviews of Aventus out there. And how many are there of Tropica? And I think this is a better perfume. Why are there 500,000 reviews of Acqua di Gio? And how many of Tropica? I mean, come on, people. Let's start a different conversation than Aventus and Acqua di Gio and all of those. Shall we? Let's do it. So let's just start with Tropica. Please check it out before it sells out again. And like I said, there's travel sprays, so you can get them. I think they're 30 bucks a piece. On Muse, I will put a link below to Muse and to Tropica on Muse's website. And I hope you show them both some love because they deserve it. All right. Well, I guess that's it for me. And don't forget to like and subscribe and ding, ding, ding the bell if you want. If you don't, it's all good. Don't forget to comment too. I still love you. Jeez. All right, use your own nose. Bye.